Do it to it, honey.
Oh, here I am. Hey, people showed up. I just decided to come on here because I was getting bored watching TV. Oh man, that's a surprise. Let me see who all's here. Wow. How you doing? 4,000 people. Charmaine Mawelma showing up, Sekbuchi. Pinky Gray's here. Pink, are you doing a live tonight? I want to watch. Are you gearing up? I didn't see. Mike Merritt, good evening. Good evening. Hey, so here's this background that I was telling you about. You know, that it's just a blue tarp. Earlier, I was talking about this background. It's funny. All it is a cheap tarp, you know, but my computer is saying, no, we told you get green. We said get green. Don't get blue. Yeah, bozo. So anyway, what are you going to do, right? So anyway, I'm trying to boost my views tonight. So I wanted to come on here and I wanted to talk about, I was going to read from the funny joke book that I found online. It's called 74 Long Jokes that tells some pretty hilarious stories. I don't know if they're hilarious or not. I'll let you be the judge of that. But the main objective here is to just increase the view count just a little bit before we call it a day. And so welcome here. It is 7:10 p.m. in the Philippines, and it must be very early in the morning where you're at, if you're not in Australia or New Zealand or someplace like that, right? Welcome, Pinky Gray, Mike Married, Charmaine, Moelma. Appreciate you guys being here. Who'd I miss? Who'd I miss in here? And Sekbuchi, thank you. So, like I said, this article comes from Linus Simonitis and Juste Carite Barcao Sienne. I hope I did all right on the pronunciation. I hope they don't send me a nastygram saying, oh, you were that was really bad, Dan. Precious Heart is here. Nicole 22 is here. Good evening, you guys. So today's instead of doing a silent live, I decided I would just come on here and tell long jokes. All right, so I'm going to give you an example of the first one, and then you'll probably bail, but it's okay. It's okay because I can always just sit here and make faces and then play copyright-free music. All right, I'm going to go into the first one, right? So it's the delivery of the joke, and I can't deliver a joke. All right, but these are pretty good. I read through these. They're pretty good. I haven't read through all 74. I thought this would be pretty fun. Hey, Larice, how you doing, Larice? Nicole Forrest tagged me. Thank you so much, Nicole. I appreciate it. And everybody else who decided to share it out and tag me. Okay, so here's the first joke. Joke number one. Do I need to do any kind of like a drum roll or something like that? You guys can tell me I vote that one down. You can give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down in the chat, right? You can tell me whether you liked it or not. If it sucks, it sucks, all right? Simply AC is here. That's what I need right now, AC. It feels like I'm stuck here in a furnace. All right, here it goes. All right, so I thought it was a good joke. Sarcastic teacher said, since we're about ready to start school, maybe some of you have already started school, your kids have started school. The sarcastic teacher said, if there are, thank you, Larice, for sharing that. If there are any idiots in the room, will they please stand up? After a long, uncomfortable silence, one freshman student rose to his feet, and the teacher said, now then, mister, why do you consider yourself an idiot? And The student responded, well, actually, I don't. The student says, but I hate to see you standing up there all by yourself. That is one of the greatest comeback lines that I have ever heard. He says, I'm not an idiot, but you are. You've made a fool out of yourself. Girly Sen is here. No, this is not going to be as exciting as duck races, I assure you. If there are duck races going on somewhere, you need to be at the duck race, I'm telling you. Joke number 2. A young boy enters a barber shop and the barber whispers to his customer, this is the dumbest kid in the world. Watch while I prove it to you. The barber pulls a dollar bill in one hand and 2 quarters in the other hand, and then calls the boy over and asks, which do you want, son? The boy takes the quarters and leaves. And the barber says to his customer, what did I tell you? That kid never learns. Later, when the customer leaves, he sees the same young boy coming out of the ice cream parlor, most likely spending the money that he's earned. And he says, hey, son, may I ask you a question? Why did you take the quarters instead of the dollar bill? And the boy licked his cone and he replied, because the day I take the dollar, the game is over. He'd been tricking the barber. Each time he came into the barber shop, the barber would do the same thing. And this kid knew the day that the day he takes that dollar bill is the day the game is over, and he gets no ice cream cone that day. Dan, if you have to explain the joke, yeah, it's no good. Not so funny. 6,000 million people in the house. I like this one. Joke number 3. Any jokes that involve God, I enjoy. A guy said to God, God, is it true that to you a billion years is like a second? And God says, yes, of course. The guy said, God, is it true that to you $1 billion is like a penny? God said, yes. The guy said, God, can I have a penny? God said, sure, just a second. I like that one so much. Oh my gosh. See you around, sucker. Oh my gosh, Number 4 is a little bit terroristic, a little bit too political. You should do more morning live streams than evening hosts. Oh, you mean I should do more at this time or more at the time that I'm usually doing them? President Putin is held hostage by a terrorist. Uh-oh. A Russian truck driver stops at the back of a long queue on the motorway. He sees a policeman walking down the line of stopped cars to briefly talk to the drivers. As the policeman approaches the truck driver rolls down his window and asks, what's going on? Right? What's happening here? What's going on? The policeman says a terrorist is holding Putin hostage in a car. He's demanding 10 million rubles or he'll douse Putin in petrol and set him on fire. So we're asking drivers for donations. The driver says, oh, okay. How much do people donate on average? And the policeman says, about a gallon. That's not a good joke. That's not a good joke. By the way, I want to interject here something here. Remind me of something I meant to talk about on the on the live stream, and that is it. Oh, okay, I got you, Jerry. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it. I'm testing it out right now. I'm kind of feeling it out. So, for example, I've been to Russia a couple of times, and the people they're just like you and I. No, maybe they're not like me, but they're more like you. They're just like everybody else. They have the same fears. They have the same fears. And it amazes me, the propaganda that is spread around, all the time. It amazes me that we actually believe it. I remember them shoving me under a desk during the time of Khrushchev. I was in grade school. They shoved me underneath there, Mini Snow, and they told me, hey, you need to get under there to protect yourself, or at least give yourself a few seconds to kiss your ass goodbye in the case in case Khrushchev decides to launch on us. Launch what? Nuclear weapons, a nuclear bomb. That was a scare tactic they used on us. Good morning, Mini Snow, or good evening. Thanks for being here and lending your support to me. I really appreciate it. Joke number 5. Remember, you can bail at any time because there's 74 of these, and I probably will end the live once I get to the 74th joke. I'm just kidding. Listen, that was a joke. I have to open up another bottle of water. Man, it's hot in here. It's hot in this room, and it's hot outside. It's hot everywhere. I got no fan in here. I got no AC. Minnie says hi. She's I think I saw her sewing in the other room. She's using the sewing machine. By the way, you guys did not. I mean, some of you did. Obviously, everybody in this stream here did. But my Lay's potato chip short video was a stroke of genius. And so, I'm feeling my way through how they work and stuff like that. And I've discovered now, where I think I have, that timing is everything. When you let that bad boy loose, has everything to do with whether it's going to get 1,000, 2,000 views, or whether it's going to die on the vine. So if you post shorts, then you give me, Larice, you post a few of them, Mini Snow. You guys give me the time of day, the best time of day in the Philippines that you have found is the best time for posting your short videos. Because I'm either posting them too early or too late. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Wife got so mad at her husband and she packed his bags and told him to get out. As he walked to the door, she yelled, "I hope you die a long, slow, and painful death." And then he says, this sounds exactly like me and wife number 2, right? He turned around and said, "Oh, so in other words, you want me to stay." You want me to stay and suffer. Oh my gosh. I never hung around, We went outside, no deaths, because in Canada, everyone likes us. Yeah, sure they do. My boss was honest with me today. He pulled up to work with his sweet new car this morning, and I complimented him on it. He replied, "Well, if you work hard, set goals, stay determined, and put in long hours, I can get an even better one next year." That's the way to motivate employees. I like that. That's the way to motivate employees. My buddy got arrested on drug charges, and because it was his first offense, he thought he would get off lightly. But it turned out his lawyer was one of the worst in the state and ended up botching his case. So instead of getting it short term, he ended up getting 40 years without parole. Man, that sentence was way too long. Get it? The sentence. Never mind. I don't think I like that joke very much. All right, let's see if we can find a better one. After a prolonged drought, when the rain came, all the animals in the forest were happy except the kangaroo. When the others asked him what the reason was for such sadness, the kangaroo revealed that the rain meant that all its kids would now have to play inside. That's a terrible joke. That's terrible. Oh my gosh. Aileen Cruz is here. Thanks for coming in and suffering along with the rest of us. All right, joke number 9. You'll find that we're getting through them fairly quickly. Some of these jokes, they're putrid. They stink to high heaven. They are absolutely no good. I need something to divert your attention. Yeah, I need something that's going to divert your attention. All right. During my checkup, I asked the doctor, "Do you think I'll live a long and healthy life then?" He replied, "I doubt it somehow. Mercury is in Uranus right now." I said, "I didn't go in for any of that astrology nonsense." He replied, "Neither do I. My thermometer just broke." Oh, heavens, no. They don't use those kind of thermometers anymore. No, they don't take your temperature that way, right? No, it actually was a beautiful day, Mike, and that's why I hear it's raining in Cebu. Or I watched YouTube and saw that they're having a storm, but it hasn't hit us. I don't know if it's going to hit us, but we've been getting hit late at night. We've been getting hit with rain around 11 or 12 o'clock, and sometimes it's been causing momentary brownouts. LV, LV, LV. I see you there, LV. Now you do 2 streams a day. I know I'm going to do them until you're sick of me. The wife. Oh, you're already sick of me? Okay, see everybody later. Joke. No, as long as as long as you're willing to hang around and suffer along with the rest of us, that'd be just fine. That'd be wonderful. The wife and I took a long, leisurely drive out to the country and pulled over to fill up our car's gas tank and the tires. She was surprised to see that the station had a fee now to fill the tires and asked me, "Why in the world do they charge for air?" I responded, "Inflation." Now that's a timely joke, right? That's timely. By the way, the peso rate jumped again. You see how they do? And so when they went out there and they started buying dollars in order to hold up the peso, it lasted for about what, 4 days, and now it's dropping again at like 56.78, somewhere in that neighborhood. Man, I'm telling you, things are not they're not looking good. They're not looking good for the global economy. We won't go tired of me. LV, LV, LV. You're number one. Don't ever change. Okay, joke number 11. Now remember, we have 74 of these. 74, I ran out of material. I'm stealing the material anyway. So when I hit 74, it's over. It's cut. Cut. You're out of here. Cut them off. Make them go away. Okay, number 11. My girlfriend and I are trying this whole long distance relationship thing. Aha. Filipino relationship with a Westerner, with a foreigner, right? My girlfriend and I are trying this whole long distance relationship thing. I have to stay 100. I can't help but laugh already. I have to stay 100 feet away from her at all times. Also, the police say I should stop referring to her as my girlfriend. Oh my gosh. I know. I'm on number 12 now, LV. Mangays here. Okay, a man is walking through the woods when he sees a bear charging at him. He books it. He starts taking off running, but he knows he can't outrun a bear for long. You can't outrun a bear for at all. What do you mean for long, right? So he starts praying, "Dear Lord, I beseech thee, please, oh Lord, please let this bear be a Christian." The bear catches up to him, knocks him down on the ground, then gets on his knees and says, "Dear Lord, thank you for this food I am about to receive." He was a Christian bear. Listen, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. That just goes to show you how dangerous the force can be to Christians. It just goes to there are a lot of Christians running around in the forest. Some of them are bears. Oh, Tim Dizak is here. Hi, Tim. Good evening. How's everything going to Angeles City? Angeles City. How's it going? All right, let's see. Moving on. Moving on. Number 13, Joe. Wow, we're making so much progress. I love you because of your life. Hey, I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time. Yeah. A guy asked a lawyer about his fees. I charge $50 for 3 questions, the lawyer says. That's awfully steep, isn't it? The guy asked the lawyer. The lawyer says, yes, I suppose so. Then the lawyer replies to him, now, what's your final question? That's the lawyers. That's the way the lawyers are in the States. You know, you go walking in the door, there's a fee. Hey, they didn't pay all that money to go to law school for nothing to serve clients for free, right? It's a fee-based system. All right, let's see. Number 14. All right, so now these are all new to me, and I read only up until 13. So 14 is brand spanking new to me as well as everyone in here. But you see, I don't remember what the thing about getting older is you never remember what you read. And so when you go back and reread it, it's like reading it for the first time. So I'm having a real good time. I still think it's funny, even the second time around. LV Rose, Sir Jerry, I hope the dollar to peso on my birthday is high. Oh, LV, 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 LV. I think Dan will continue telling jokes if we all leave it alone. Oh, if we all leave. Yeah, that's right, because you never know who's going to be interested in the jokes when it turns to video. I'm not so sure they're going to be interested in seeing Tart behind me, but I was just thinking, you know, having Tart behind me, that's pretty funny too, right? Sir Mikey's actually entertaining himself. That's right. A guy, yeah, but I make no bones about it. I know what's going on here. I know exactly what is going on here. You're expecting to get paid for showing up. In fact, somebody sent me an email about that, I think. Somebody sent me an email yesterday or the day before, right? They said, damn, you're paying people to show up at your live stream. And I said to them, what do you mean you don't? You don't pay anybody? That's amazing. No one would show up, not even one person in my live stream if I didn't give stuff away. A guy sitting at home when he hears a knock at the door. He opens the door and sees a snail on the porch. He picks up the snail and throws it as far as he can. A year later, there's another knock at the door. He opens it and sees the same snail, and the snail says, hey, what the hell was that all about? Oh my God, that's the funniest one so far. I can't help myself. I'm rolling. It sucks to be a snail. It sucks to be a snail. Oh my goodness gracious. That's hilarious. Joke number 15. One day, Max went to see Carl. Carl had a big swollen nose. It sounds like mine. Whoa, what happened, Carl? Max asked. I sniffed a brose. A brose? A brose? Does he mean a rose? Carl replied, what? There's no B in rose. Carl replied, there was when I sniffed it this morning. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Number 16. My daughter wants the new iPhone for her birthday. Tell me something. Whose daughter does not, right? Whose daughter does not want an iPhone for their birthday? My daughter wants a new iPhone for her birthday. I told her that she'll get one as long as she has good grades, does her chores, and follows the house rules. Otherwise, she would get a cheaper phone. It's my way or the highway. They're talking about that. Never mind. Mike says, don't explain it, Dan. Don't explain it. It just makes it worse. I am amusing myself. 7 million people are in the house. Snail mail, yes. Jerry, I call South Texas, so I'm 38. Wow. When I first became aware of the Philippines, it was 43 or 44 before 2016. I had no clue what the Philippines was. Yeah, when I went to Russia, I think, well, you know where the ruble is now, right? It's somewhere at like 100 to 1 or 102 to 1. I mean, it's collapsed practically, right? The whole thing is collapsed. But I think when I went there, it was 38 to 1, and everybody was happy. They actually had an exchange rate for the dollar. Yeah, and so now they're like, piss on the dollar. Go exchange it for euros, and then we'll exchange your euros over to uh, um, rubles. So here's the whole thing. They want you to go change your dollars to euros first, and then they'll take the euros. That's really ridiculous. Ah. Number 17. This joke must be about Tim. Tim decided to tie the knot with his longtime girlfriend. Oh, that'll be the day, huh, Tim? That's going to be the day that you decide that. There's no way that that's ever going to happen. One evening after the honeymoon, he was organizing his golfing equipment. His wife was standing nearby watching him. After a long period of silence, she finally speaks. Tim, I've been thinking, now that we're married, maybe it's time. Here it comes. Maybe it's time you quit golfing. Oh no, you spend so much time on the golf course, you could probably get a good price for your clubs. This is wonderful, he's probably thinking, right? You, oh, Tim gets this horrified look on his face, and I would too. And then she says, darling, what's wrong? For a minute there, you were beginning to sound like my ex-wife. Ex-wife, she screams. I didn't know you were married before. He says, he deadpans, he says, I wasn't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's trouble in paradise, huh, Tim? Tim says it will never happen. Number 18. We're still staying on the wife subject, and I'll probably lose every Filipina in the house now. We know that Filipinos are completely and totally different. That's why we have girlfriends, Filipino girlfriends. That's why we have Filipino wives. So all this is just Western jokes about their wives and the reasons why we came here to marry you. And so the next one is a nagging wife joke. My nagging wife died suddenly on a trip to Jerusalem. Funeral director, sir, it would cost about $45,000 if we send her home back to the States, or $500 if we bury her here in Jerusalem. So the husband says, ship her home. Funeral director, but sir, why don't you bury her here in the Holy Land, and you could save money? And the widower says, a long time ago, a man was buried here, and 3 days later, he rose from the dead. I can't take that chance. That is a very, very bad resurrection joke. I do apologize. I apologize to both Jews and Christians in the chat. Oh, I go to the doctor and I said, Doc, my bum hurts. And the doctor says, where specifically does it hurt? I said, right around the entrance. Yeah, well, that's the exit. We have to stop right there, folks. I got to go on to the next joke. The exit to some, and I'm afraid the entrance to others, right? Listen. I'm sleepy, but I'm not woke. Okay. Oh my gosh. Number 20 for a high school dance. The what? It says the head boy. I don't think we talk like that in English, do we? For a high school dance, the head boy. Do they mean like the lead boy? I'm not sure what they're talking about here. Asked out the girl he liked. To get flowers for her, he had to stand in the line outside the florist for an hour. To make things worse, oh, so he's not already enjoying this experience. To make things worse, he had to wait another hour in line outside the tuxedo shop. Finally, he goes to dance with a girl. The girl wanted to have some apple punch, So the boy went to go get it, but to his surprise, there was no punchline. Ah! The joke is on me. Why did you do that to me? You're mean. You're mean. The joke is on me. I have a good mind to melt this guy in the fire that's going on outside. The pit fire, the trash fire. Crystals is here. Crystals, thanks for stopping by. I'm just telling a few jokes, trying to get some cheap thrills and views. Trying to boost them a little bit. I thought, oh, you could do a silent. You could play some music. You could do this, do that, and get a few hours. But Mike is saying, so in the Philippines, we have a Filipino wife and a girlfriend. How come no one told me? Well, I think that you might be able to talk your wife in some parts of the country into having a second wife, and quite possibly a third if you could afford to, to keep them. I believe that's the new rules here in the Philippines, but I'm not sure. I heard that somewhere. Jerry is saying every guy's dream come true, Mike, especially if both are young, perverted Westerners. Mike married to a beautiful woman. Crystal says, hey. Joke number 21, and it's 21 too many. A taxi passenger, this is a good Filipino joke, I'm sure, tapped the driver on the shoulder and asked him a question. The driver screamed, lost control of the car, nearly hit a bus, went up on a footpath, and stopped inches from a shop window. But that just sounds like a regular day here in the Philippines for a taxi driver, right? Doesn't it? Mabel Torres is here. Hi, Mabel. For a second, everything was quiet in the cab. Then the driver said, look, mate, don't ever do that again. And that is the way a taxi driver here in the Philippines would talk, right? Look, mate. Look, mate. Look, mate. Don't ever do that again. You scared the living daylights out of me. The passenger apologized profusely and said, I didn't realize that a little tap would scare you so much. The driver replied, sorry, it's not really your fault. Today is my first day as a cab driver. I've been driving a funeral van for the last 25 years. He thought, oh my gosh, he thought the dead had come back to life. I've oftentimes wondered what that would be like to be a funeral, to be the driver of a hearse or something like that. If any of you in the chat have had that experience of being a hearse driver, being the one that actually drives the body to the burial spot, I'd be interested in that kind of. Be interested in learning that, if that freaks you out, LV, 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 LV. Yeah, exactly. You're basically driving around a skeleton in the back of your car. My husband once called a few house painters to his house for some work. He wanted them to paint his porch. After a few hours, the house painters came on by. Oh, so this isn't the Philippines. In other words, you'd have to wait weeks for a house painter to show up. So no, this has to be Canada or somewhere in the West. After a few hours, the house painters came back for. Wait. I skipped the paragraph. I ruined the joke. He wanted them to paint his porch. After a few hours, the house painters came back for the payment as their work was complete. Before leaving, they told my friend that they had enjoyed painting his car, but it is not really a Porsche. Oh no, that's no good, that joke. I should have stopped while I was ahead. Yeah, listen, I should not be explaining the joke, especially one that's as horrible as that. I should be leaving it alone. Dan, just back away as though the event did not occur. By the way, how do you guys like my background? I actually could have just unhooked it because all it's holding it up is shower curtains on the curtain rod. I should have just taken it down, and then you just would have seen the usual white curtain. I don't know why I didn't. I tried different virtual backgrounds, and they all turned out the same. Like this morning, it looked like a a hurricane or a tornado was approaching, something like that. A typhoon. I didn't want to frighten anybody if they saw a typhoon coming through my living room. So, oh yeah, that's right. We're nose bleeding here. Mike, there you go. I have someone that is defending me. All right, Filipinas, stay with me. We're on joke number 23. An MIT, you know what MIT is? That's the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Uh, a linguistics professor was lecturing his class the other day in English, he said. A double negative forms a positive. However, in some languages, such as Russian, a double negative remains a negative. But there isn't a single language, not one, in which a double positive can express a negative. A voice from the back of the room said, "Yeah, right." Listen, forget it. Forget that joke. Forget that you ever heard it. Let's move on to number 24. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Forget it. Alien cruise officials help me, heroes. I saying I ran out of tissue. Oh, Mother's Day. Mother's Day you'll appreciate, right? I didn't know you guys celebrated that Hallmark holiday here in the Philippines. It's Mother's Day. And I'm like, what the hell? I left that behind in the West. What are you talking about? Mike is saying, if you are going to have a wife and girlfriend, better to find one with the same name so you don't mistake her, right, LV? Yeah, calling your wife. That's why you use terms of endearment, though, to when you talk to your wife. See, I figured this out years ago. You have to say, "Honey, baby, come to daddy. Hello, honey, come over here, baby." That's why you never call your wife by her first name. LV is saying, I'll just laugh, even though I didn't get the joke. And neither did anyone else, LV. So just forget about it. Oh, don't get me started. Just forget about it. Mother's Day. 2 children ordered their mother to stay in bed. Oh, breakfast in bed. This is a treat, she probably was thinking. And as she was lying there looking forward to breakfast in bed, the smell of bacon floated up from the kitchen. But after a good long wait, she finally went downstairs to investigate. She found them both sitting at the table eating bacon and eggs. As a surprise for Mother's Day, one exclaimed, "We decided to cook our own breakfast. Let you sleep in late." I don't know if that's ever happened to you, Mike. Mike is saying, my wife's name is Elvie. Mike, Sir Mike, that's my, that's my, it's my show. You can't make up your own jokes as you're going along. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. A New York attorney representing a wealthy art collector called his client and said to him, "Saul, I have some good news and I have some bad news." The art collector replied, "I've had an awful day. Let's hear the good news first." Right? The attorney said, "Well, I met with your wife today and she informed me that she invested $5,000 in 2 pictures that she thinks will bring a minimum of $15 to $20 million. I think she could be right." Saul replied enthusiastically, "Well done. My wife is a brilliant businesswoman. Well, you just made my day. Now I know I can handle the bad news. What is it?" The attorney replied, "The pictures are of you with your secretary." Oh no, 50 or 20 million. Oh my gosh. The pictures are of you with your secretary. That is a horrible joke. A horrible, horrible joke. And now LV is asking you, LV, why did you have to go there? LV, LV, LV. Things like that, LV. You just leave them alone. All right? Oh my goodness. 4 men are in the hospital waiting room because their wives are having babies. Wow, that's a coinkydink. 4 men at the same time. Usually the men don't even show up, right? Especially if you live here in the Philippines, the men just go to work, and when they come back home, they got a brand new baby there, right? No, I'm just kidding. 4 men are in the hospital waiting room because their wives are having babies. A nurse goes up to the first guy and says, what does he say? What does he say? Congratulations, you're the father of twins. That's odd, answers the man. I work for the Minnesota Twins. The nurse says to the second guy, congratulations, you're the father of triplets. That's weird, answers the second man. I work for the 3M company. A nurse tells the third man, congratulations, you're the father of quadruplets. That's strange, he answers. I work for the Four Seasons Hotel. The last man is groaning and banging his head against the wall. What's wrong? The others ask. I work for the 7-Up Soda Company. Oh, no. Oh, no. LV, LV, LV. Oh, I was visiting the house of a distant cousin when I saw that he was playing chess with his cat. I said, that had to be the most intelligent cat ever. My cousin replied, absolutely not. She has lost all her matches. Oh, joke number 28. We're making our way all the way up to joke 74, and then we're going to cut it off. If I make it there, if you guys don't abandon me. Yeah, that's right. He's going down. That's exactly right, Crystals. Oh, my goodness. Elvie Rose, Sir Mike, Sir Dan, don't believe that. Your wife's name is Elvie, too. That's right. That's my wife's name, too. That's her real name, Elvie. Oh, my gosh. Make me one with everything, says the Buddhist to the tofu hot dog vendor. Then, after getting his tofu hot dog, the Buddhist hands the vendor a $20 bill. The vendor takes the money and begins helping the next customer. The Buddhist looks puzzled and asks the vendor, where's my change? The vendor replies, change comes from within. Ah, that's my line. Change comes from within. Don't ever forget it. Those are valuable words of wisdom and advice for all of you that are here. It's from within. Mike is saying, LOL, sorry, Crystals, but you won't forget it. Hey, husband and wife at custody court. You know what that is, right? They're fighting over custody of the children. I don't know. Usually here in the Philippines, it doesn't get that far, right? The woman has custody of the children automatically because the man is nowhere to be found. There, I'm making my own jokes as I'm going along here, right? All right, man. Oh, help me a second. I choked the seller. If he will tell me that, I know. Mike is saying, lucky he didn't work for Xerox. Oh, that's hilarious, Mike. That is. That's funny. I didn't even think of that. That's a really good one. Husband and wife. So they're in court. The judge looks sternly at the ex-wife. And the judge says, why do you think you deserve custody of the child? And the ex-wife says, I brought him into this world, so I should have custody of him. The judge says, that is simple, yet a good reason. Simple but good. Then the judge looks towards the ex-husband. Judge, why do you think you deserve custody of the child? Sir, the ex-husband thought long and hard about his response. After a brief moment of silence, she replies, if I put money into a Pepsi machine and a Pepsi comes out, is it mine or is it the machine's? That kid belongs to me. I paid for him, fair and square. Ladies, some of you single moms out there, how do you feel about that one? I just wish that if they did have a custody court here in the Philippines, that the man, Mr. Man, would show up, right? Except you'll go to court and he's a no-show, and that means that you automatically get custody of that kid. Okay, next one up, number 30. A racist man called me a terrorist for having long hair, a long beard, and being Middle Eastern. Later, I saw him at church giving a speech about how everyone needs a Middle Eastern guy with long hair and a beard in their lives. Oh my goodness gracious, that's a good point. That's a very, very good joke. That joke is clever. You have to admit that's very, very clever. Oh, two crows were in a field when they noticed a figure that looked like a man in the distance. Hey, see that over there? What is that? Says the first crow. The second crow takes a long look. Why, that's a scarecrow. Looks authentic, doesn't it? How can you tell it's a scarecrow and not a person? Replies the first crow. Look at its hand. There's no cell phone. There's no cell phone. He's not on Facebook. Can't be real. It's fake. That's pretty modern. You know, I mean, if you think about it, that's a pretty modern joke. He says, I don't get it, damn. Hey, I saw somebody, by the way, with an iPhone 4 in their pocket. I was having lunch with Man Mini, and I said something like, "Hey, I didn't know that they support iPhone 4s here in the Philippines. Do they, guys? iPhone 4 is old. You know, that's really old. It's old like me." Three friends, but they were proud of it. They were displaying it. Look, I got an iPhone 4. I have an iPhone 4. I have an iPhone 4. Bet you wish you had one. You know, they were doing that. Boop, it was a young gal. Doo, 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 twirling it around on her finger. You know. Three friends stranded on a deserted island find a magic lamp. Inside, it is a genie who agrees to grant each friend one wish. Oh, this is probably a joke we've heard before, I bet. I want to go home, says the first friend. The genie grants her wish. I want to go home too, says the second friend. And the genie sends him back home too. I'm lonely, says the third friend. I sure wish my friends were back here. They still have flip phones here. I haven't seen one, but yeah, it's probably true. Anything that works, you know, anything. A flip phone, though, is not like a smartphone, right? Is it? Can you still use Facebook and social media and all that stuff on it? A cruise ship passes by a remote island, and all the passengers see a bearded man running around and waving his arms wildly. Captain, one passenger asks, who is the man over there? Captain looks over there and says, I have no idea, the captain says. But he goes nuts every year when we pass him. Oh, no, that's horrible. Who came up with that joke? That's horrible. That's a horrible joke. So I guess we're into the religious jokes now, right? After Sunday church, the priest would hand us each an orange and a big cookie. A little girl once lied and took 2 oranges, but the priest told her she mustn't lie because God is watching. Then the girl took 2 cookies and lied about it. When asked why she done that, she said because she thought God was only watching the oranges. That makes perfectly good sense to me. That could have been me. Hey, by the way, I was watching this video. I hope you don't get a nosebleed when I try to explain this. It does remind me of something, though. It talks about how if you can catch somebody in a lie by reversing their speech. And at first, it sounded a little bit demonic to me. In other words, they gave several examples. There's a guy named David Oates who started this whole thing. He found out once his Sony Walkman malfunctioned, it started playing tapes in reverse. And then he started to find that there were messages in the tapes that can be detected if you play it in reverse. And so it's very interesting, but I think it's just coincidence. I don't really think it exists. But computers, for example, computers, they're very, very fast. They operate very fast in deciphering and decoding things, but not as fast as your own brain. So it might be possible that there is something to it. In other words, your brain is working so quickly that there may, in fact, be multiple languages that you're speaking all at the same time. In other words, you're speaking English, and that's what I'm verbalizing now. But when you reverse it, you're also speaking English that has hidden messages hidden within the spoken word. I mean, it's very, very weird. But so I went online to check this out. I went online to see if there were an application that is on Google Play that will allow you to test this out. And believe it or not, I found three, right? And one of them, the best downloaded app, says there's a disclaimer right in front of it saying this is only for fun, has not been scientifically proven, right? But in this video called the Wet Files, it had a couple of million views. I don't remember how many, maybe 1.2. He is saying that the CIA and other secret entities, I'm sure they share the information with Canada, Mike. If there weren't something to it, then they wouldn't have classified documents related to the reverse speech of very, very well known politicians and people very high up in government. So I don't know, I'm thinking about trying it out. But if you go and you download that app and then you go back and you redo all my live streams, then you'll be able to detect that I've been lying since the very beginning about everything. I am a fraud. If you play it backwards, I am a fraud. Don't listen to whatever Dan has to say. He's lying. I mean, think about it. Yeah, like a country song. Yes, Mike. Like a country song in reverse, he gets his boat back, his dog back, and his wife back. Exactly. You play it in reverse. By the way, he said it was a Paul McCartney song that he wrote that caused this whole thing where they deliberately put messages backwards. They deliberately did it. It became a thing after Paul McCartney had some kind of accident, and they take care, Tim, and they proposed, or rumors started that he actually had died in that car accident, and they had a Paul McCartney lookalike that took his place. Anyway, number 35. I was in my garden when I got the news that my father had fallen from a 20-foot ladder and was in the hospital. I rushed to the hospital expecting that my father had some major fractures, but he was all right except for some minor cuts. When I told him that it was a miracle, he disagreed and told me, "Son, I had just fallen from the first step of the ladder." Oh, that's bad. That's bad. A tough old cowboy from Texas. Jerry, you still with us? So now there's a Texas joke. You know that everybody always likes to throw in a Texas joke just to make everybody feel welcome. A tough cowboy from Texas, an old cowboy, counseled his granddaughter that if she wanted to live a long life, the secret was to sprinkle a pinch of gunpowder on her oatmeal every morning. The granddaughter did this religiously until the age of 103. When she died, now I'm starting to get interruptions from spam advertising. Let's see. When she died, she left behind 14 children, 30 grandchildren, 45 great grandchildren, 25 great great grandchildren, and a 40-foot hole where the crematorium used to be. Oh no! That's horrible. I'm not explaining that joke. I'm not. When you read a message, you don't read it all. The letters so easily to put in a secret message. Oh, I see. When you read a message, you don't read all the letters so easy to put in a secret message. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Um, During a recent password audit, it was found that a blonde, oh no, not a blonde joke. I do apologize to all the blondes out there. It was found that a blonde was using the following password: Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Huey, Louie, Dewey, Donald, Goofy, Sacramento. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, now, wait a minute. I didn't know there was going to be a joke here that was an attack on me. When asked why such a long password, she said she was told that it had to be at least 8 characters long and include at least one capital. Oh my gosh. Not that was a horrible blonde joke. I delivered it because I'm delivering 74, but I do apologize to everyone in the chat for that joke. Uh, I hope this isn't a trend, the blonde joke thing, right? An 8-year-old boy had never spoken a word. One afternoon, as he sat eating his lunch, he turned to his mother and said, "The soup is cold." His astonished mother exclaimed, "Son, I've waited so long to hear you speak, but all these years you've never said a thing. Why haven't you spoken before?" The boy looked at her and replied, "Up till now, everything has been satisfactory." That, my friends, is a good answer, right? Is there blonde? Are there blonde Filipinos? I've never seen one. Yeah, actually, I have. I've been the unfortunate one. you know, just don't seem to be happy with that beautiful long black hair. Gorgeous. They always want to do something to color it. They always want to do something to change it up. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, Mike. I'm not sure. People just don't seem happy at who they are at times, right? A fellow was walking along the country road, and when he came upon a farmer working his field, the man called out to him, "How long will it take me to get to the next town?" The farmer didn't answer. The guy waited a bit and then started walking again. After the man had got about 100 yards, the farmer yelled out, "About 20 minutes. Thank you, but why did you tell me that when I asked you?" "Oh, I didn't know how fast you could walk." So the farmer, yeah, that sounds like a farmer, right? He pulls out a slide rule. Pulls out a slide rule and figured it out. He's walking at about 10 miles per hour. Now he's walking at about 1 mile per hour, so it'll probably take him. Next town is a couple miles away, so it'll probably take him 20 minutes to get there. A kid going to the first day of school. He looks worried. His dad asks him, "What's wrong, kiddo?" Nervous, the kid asked, "How long do you have to go to school for?" "Until you're 18. His father uh, says his father. The kid nods and thinks about it for quietly, and then he gets to the front gates of the school. The kid says, "Dad, you will remember to come and get me when I'm 18, won't you?" So that sounds like a little 5-year-old kid going to school for the first time, right? Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds right. That's something one of my kids would have said to me. They said, "So you're going to pick me up in 18 years. Okay, I wish it were that easy." But hey, schools want to raise your child. You wouldn't receive a phone call if you were missing in action. They would not. They would not call you, and say, "Hey, are you going to come down and pick up your kid?" They just would take them, right? Dan, what is the slide rule? The thing that calculates. Never mind. I never learned how to use one. My brother knew how to use calculations on a slide rule. Supposedly, you could use it just like a scientific calculator. He was very good at it. This is before Texas Instrument introduced that. I think it was. I think Gosh, it was so expensive when he bought the first one, right? Texas Instrument Scientific Calculator was very expensive, but my brother bought one. Prior to that, he was using a slide rule, and he was so good at it, he got hired by a construction company. I'll never forget this as long as I live. I don't know, is my brother listening? Brother, are you in the house? Is my older brother. If I have the story straight, they would have him check water, water content in the soil. And somehow he was able to do it. Somehow he was able to do that calculation. I think it had to do with density of soil times, mass times, years the universe was old, how many rotations around the sun, stuff like that. I don't know how he did it. He tried to explain it to me, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Two campers are walking through the woods when a huge brown bear suddenly appears in the clearing about 50 feet in front of them. The bear sees the campers and begins to head towards them. The first guy drops his backpack, digs out a pair of sneakers, and frantically begins to put them on. The second guy says, "Hey, what are you doing? Sneakers won't help you outrun that bear." And then his friend says, "I don't need to outrun the bear." The first guy says, "I just need to outrun you." Now that's a true friend, right? Mike is saying, when I was in high school, the calculation watch came out. Oh, you're a young guy though, so that means you were using Casio, the Casio watch, right? I had one of those, and you were able to do algebraic equations on your wrist. I'll bet you that's what you're talking about, right? The Casio watch. Teachers didn't know what it was, right, Mike? They didn't know that such a thing existed, and so they didn't know what the hell you were doing, but they wondered why you were getting A's on your paper, and then you weren't showing any of your work. So did you get yelled at a couple of times where they said, "Mike, if we've told you once, we told you a million times. You have to show your work." And then you would say, "Did I get the answers right?" And they go, "Well, yes." There you go. Why do I have to show my work? I'm genius. I calculated in my head. Right? And then they think you were Einstein, right? They'd move you up a few grades. I had visited a cafe one day with my friends. So the waiter recommended that we try their special coffee. This is a great joke, I'm sure. Because it's a coffee joke, right? It can't be bad. The waiter recommended that we try their special coffee. We agreed, and soon the coffee arrived. As we drank the coffee, we realized that it tastes like dirt and mud. Well, I don't know. Would I be able to detect the taste of dirt and mud? I haven't had any. I haven't had any since I was a little kid, I'm sure. I wouldn't know. I probably wouldn't remember the taste. Disgusted by this fact, all of us complained immediately. The alarmed waiter rushes over and says, "Well, sir, it was freshly ground coffee." Ah. That one just hits the ground at full speed. There was nothing left. We didn't even recognize where the little itty bitty parts that were torn off of it went. There was no way to reconstruct it to see what went wrong. Oh, once during an adventure, a farmer named Brian Clay stumbled into a cave and found a magic lamp. Upon rubbing the lamp, a genie appeared and asked him what his wish was. The farmer told him that he wished he were very rich. The genie said okay and asked him, "All right, Mr. Very Rich Clay, what is your second wish?" uh, he renamed him. That's hilarious. Yes, then the Casio watch came out. Okay. As a group of robbers entered the bank, their leader went to the manager and asked him to open the vault. He threatened the manager by saying, "If you try to do anything smart," you know, a banker doing anything smart? I don't think so. "If you try to do anything smart, Your fiction. The manager was confused and asked him, don't you mean you are history? The robber angrily replied back, don't change the subject on me, okay? That was like, that one was like, yeah. That one you can't really hesitate, right? You can't really explain it or hesitate. You can't hesitate like I do. I have a very, very poor, it's a horrible joke delivery, right? So, yeah, let's forget that one ever happened. Let's see. Crystals is laughing, ha ha. If water was added to dirt, then it could be mud. How could he taste dirt? That's right. He'd be tasting mud. You're exactly right. The joke doesn't make any sense. Bruce Davis is here. Hello, Bruce. Thanks for coming and listening to this useless diatribe. Minutes of your life that you will never, ever get back. I was in the library once when a man walked in asking for some ham and cheese. The librarian politely told him that he was in a library. The man first apologized and then whispered to the librarian, can I please have some ham and cheese? After 5 long years of studying, a student comes rushing into Einstein's office shouting, Sir, I finally understand your theory of special relativity. Einstein rolls his eyes and says, it's about time. You saw that one coming, right, Mike? Mike, you had to have seen that one coming. All right. A horse walks into a bar. He approaches the bartender and says, is there a triangle with 3 sides labeled X, Y, and Z? And X and Z are perpendicular to each other? Which side is the hypotenuse? The bartender thinks for a moment, then replies, Y, the long face. That's the most stupid joke I have ever heard. Why? The long face. So the wife and I were in town shopping. Oh, this sounds like a Minnie and I. Because we're always in town shopping for something. And as we came out of a store, 3 girls between the age of 18 and 20 walked by, wearing tiny crop tops and short skirts. One of them, a tall blonde, had really fantastic, long-toned and tanned legs. I gently nudged my wife and said, I bet you wish you still had legs like that. She got really upset with me. In fact, I could hear her sobbing, and I wheeled her up to the ramp. As I rode, oh no, I blew it. She got really upset with me. In fact, I could still hear her sobbing as I wheeled her up the ramp into the next door. Oh my God, a disability joke. That is horrific. I do apologize to all the disabled people that are watching this live stream. Please accept my sincere apology for that joke. I should have proofread it. I would have never said it. Joke number 49. 400 passengers, but only 200 meals were loaded into a flight from Delhi to New York City. It was only discovered after takeoff when the flight attendants started going through their preparations for the meals. So the airline had bungled and the crew was in a fix. However, one smart flight attendant had an idea. A couple of hours into the flight, she nervously announced, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know how this happened, but we have over 400 people on board, but only 200 dinners. Anyone who is kind enough to give up their meal to someone else will receive unlimited free liquor for the duration of the flight. Her next announcement came 6 hours later. Ladies and gentlemen, if anyone wants to change their mind, we still have 180 dinners available. Dan has been canceled. Mike says, oh no. Harsh hubby is, yeah. If I think that's a hubby that you need to wheel him down the ramp. Right? Joke number 50. So, oh, wow. After this, we only have 24 more jokes to go, right? It's the World Cup final, and a man makes his way to his seat. By the way, folks, I might interject something here. Please keep an eye on your daughters. I don't know what's going on with the guys, right? But please keep your eye on your daughters. You know that Minnie and I, we went to Ormoc a few weeks ago. When we got to Ormoc, I see this lovely young couple, couldn't be any older than 16, sitting on a bench. And I was up there vlogging. So I went up there, not flogging. I wasn't getting flogged. I was vlogging. And so I go up to them and I put the camera right in their face, right, which was really, really bad. I did apologize later. And I said, do your parents know that you are here? And they were stunned. Both of them were stunned, right? They were like, and then all of a sudden the girl says, um, kind sir, no, she doesn't. And then I just started laughing. You mean you guys still do that? You guys still tell your parents falsehoods about where you're going to be? I'll be at the mall with my friend Jenny, and Jenny covers for you, and then you go running out to the mall. Oh my goodness gracious, that's horrible. All right, number 50. It's the World Cup final, and a man makes his way to his seat right next to the pitch. He sits down, noticing the seat next to him is empty. He leans over and asks his neighbor, is someone or will somebody be sitting there? No, says the neighbor. The seat is empty. That is incredible, said the man. Who in their right mind would have a seat like this for the final and not use it? The neighbor says, well, actually, the seat belongs to me. I was supposed to come here with my wife, but she passed away. This is the first World Cup final we have not been together for since we've been married. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. But couldn't you find someone else, a friend, relative, or even a neighbor, to take her seat? The man shakes his head and says, no. They're all at the funeral. Oh, no. Marion Salonga is here. Alfie Martin has stepped in the chat. KK Travels and Education Vlog is here. And Mariana Cruz is here. Thank you so much for stopping by. If all you people were here, how is it I only have 5 people in the chat? How is it that only 5 people are showing up? Luffy Taro is here. In my neighborhood, there was a couple who had given their twin sons. Oh, since you guys just stepped in, what we're doing here is I'm just trying to, I'm trying to get some views to help prop up what probably was a very dismal day for me all the way around in terms of YouTube views. And so I'm just trying to, I thought about doing a, what do they call it, a silent live stream. Then I started here playing around with the music, and I just said, I got jokes in the can, right? And I could, they're just ratings are down. Oh, thank you. Is that good? Yeah, ratings good, right? So I appreciate it. Who sent you over? Who sent you guys over? Thank you. Oh, Mildred. Thank you, NEMC. In my neighborhood, there was thank Mildred for me. I really appreciate it. Good evening, NEMC. In my neighborhood, there was a couple who had given their twin sons very weird names. One was named Trouble, while the other boy's name was Mind Your Own Business. So one day they were playing hide and seek, mind your business, counted to 100, and then started looking for his brother. But somehow he couldn't find him anywhere. He saw a police car pass in the neighborhood, so he stopped it and he asked for help. When the police officer asked him for his name, he replied, Mind your own business. Feeling insulted, the police officer still asked politely, who is he looking for? Mind your own business, replied. I am looking for trouble. That's, I could have written that joke. Yeah, that's not one for television, right? That's not a joke that should ever be repeated to anyone, especially your friends. Don't do it. Don't do it. Your friends will not invite you over for barbecue any longer. No, they will not. Crystal's laughing. I was in a barber shop when a man and his young son walked in to get a haircut. The man asked the barber to give his son a haircut while he shopped for groceries nearby. The barber finished giving the haircut, but there was no sign of the father. An hour passed, 2 hours passed. Oh my goodness. The barber finished giving him a haircut, 3 hours passed. We finally asked the son where his father was, and the boy shocked us by saying, "That man wasn't my father. He just told me that if I wanted to get a free haircut at the barber shop, I should come with him." The kid was like, "Yeah, I could use a haircut." two two young fishies, salmon were swimming. What did I say? Salmon were swimming along one day, as they do. They are passed by a wiser, older fish. Listen, there is not going to be an older, wiser fish in the Philippines. They're going to be eaten by then, right? They don't become old. They're fingerlings, right? You eat them when they're fingerlings. Maybe I should pass this joke up. The wiser fish greets the two as he passes, saying, "Morning, boys. How's the water?" The other two continue to swim in silence for a little while until the first one turns to the other and asks, "What the hell is water?" I knew I should have just laid that joke aside. 54. After this number 54, we will have 20 more jokes to do in this live stream. Thank God it will be history. A man and his wife are in a restaurant, and the husband keeps staring at an old drunken lady swigging her gin at a nearby table. His wife asks, "Do you know her?" "Yes," sighs the husband. "She's my ex-wife. She took to drinking right after we divorced 7 years ago, and I hear she hasn't been sober since." "My God," says the wife, "who would think a person could go on celebrating that long?" That was pretty good. They didn't say that there were going to be great jokes. I didn't promise you that. Anastasia Senna, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me a view count. Fingerling still in on the stomach. No more old. That's what I'm saying. You know, they're little teeny tiny goldfish, you know. Britain's oldest woman turned 114 today. When asked the secret of her longevity, she attributed it to taking a walk at midnight every night. When quizzed on whether she was concerned about the increase in muggings in recent years, she said that she was not and would continue mugging people as long as her health holds out. That joke took an unexpected turn for the worse. Number 56. Whew, man, oh man. A man was driving down the road when a policeman stopped him. The officer looked in the back of the man's truck and said, "Why are these penguins in your truck?" The man replied, "These are my penguins. They belong to me. You need to take them to the zoo," the policeman said. The next day, the officer saw the same guy driving down the road. He pulled him over again. He saw there were penguins still inside the truck, but they were wearing sunglasses this time. "I thought I told you to take these penguins over to the zoo," the officer said. "I did," the man replied, "and today I'm taking them to the beach." Oh man, I'm so easily amused, aren't I? Crystals, I'm so easily amused. Des, how are you? Thanks for stopping in and saying hello. Thank you, guys. Who's connecting? Mildred's connecting to the raid. Pretty me, thank you. Thank you so much. Please send my regards to Mildred. A boy read a restaurant sign that advertised fat-free French fries. "Sounds great," said the health-conscious boy. He ordered some. He watched as the cook pulled the basket of fries from the fryer. The potatoes were dripping with oil when the cook put them into the container. Wait a minute, the boy said. Those don't look fat-free. Sure they are, the cook said. We charge only for the potatoes. The fat is free. Hey guys, I have a question for you. I don't know if anybody's paying attention. Crystals, I think you are, right? I found these jokes online, 74 long, they're called 74 long jokes. I don't do well with any kind of jokes. I'm not a good storyteller or joke teller, but I decided that I had a shot at it if I used the long jokes as opposed to the one-liners, right? So, but I have a question for you guys in the chat if you're still listening. Nicole, Crystals, anybody, Nicole instead, I gotta ask you a question. T Salap, why is it that you guys in the Philippines are not cooking with lard? Why do I see vegetable oil all over the place uh, when you have pigs everywhere? Pigs are everywhere. And you go into the store, you go into Metro Mart, you go into Prince Mall and some of these other places, Save More, whatever they call it. You go to look for lard, right? And they sell it. They sell it in blocks of 1 pound blocks, and it's very expensive. Why is it so expensive? And why are you guys using vegetable oil instead of using lard in order to cook with? I don't get it. Someone needs to explain it to me. I don't understand it. I asked Mam Minnie, and she didn't even know what I was talking about. What are you talking about? We use vegetable oil. Honey, there are pigs everywhere. There are parts of pigs everywhere. Where's the fat going? Where's the lard going? I mean, lard is much healthier for you, they're discovering, than vegetable oil. Some of you may disagree, but like I say, coconut oil is very, very good for you. Coconut oil is the best. I totally, listen, hands down, if it's between lard and coconut oil, you use coconut oil, but not vegetable oil, right? Not vegetable oil. That's insane. It's got stuff in it. Lard isn't available here, Sudan, only in cold areas like in Baguio. The temperatures here will melt it away. Hmm. Yeah, but even if it melts, you still are able to use it, right? Do you have to keep it in a cool temperature or it'll go rancid? Is that what we're talking about here? I mean, if it just turns into oil, that's all the better, right? You don't have to keep lard in that hydrogenated state, right? And advisor is saying, hey, vegetable oil is very expensive and there are coconuts everywhere, right? So that makes it, well, and it's better for you to use coconut oil. They say better than let's see, if you're on a keto diet and you're only eating meat, because you want to lose weight. Oh, let's see, Nicole saying, Dan, because not all have a piggery and the demand is more than the supply. Got you. That would explain why it's so expensive. But coconut oil is also very keto friendly. As a matter of fact, if you're an ice cream addict like me, then you want to eat coconut ice cream. That is the best for you if you want to stay away from carbohydrates for a little while. So I was weighing what, 205, and I was going north to like 208. I could see myself. The most I ever weighed in my life was 220. And so I'm like, oh man, I got to go low carb. And then I switched over, eating some pork, eating some pork belly and some different things, chicken manuk, which is why you see Eat at Joe's House of Manuk, to remind me to back off the carbs, back way off the rice and stuff like that. And it's been keeping me at that 200 pounds, which is still a lot, right? That's a lot of kilos to be hauling around. If I can get down to 190 pounds, I don't know how many. I don't have my calculator, my kilo calculator, but that would be, even that is very heavy. I know. I know you only weigh you know, 30, 35 kilos or something like that. My daughter bought a friend. My daughter brought a friend from school, and she said his great, 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 great grandfather was coming to pick him up later. I was impressed and I asked, does he know how his so many great grandfathers lived for so long? My daughter answered, it's because of my friend's stutter. Crystal's saying, I am no pork at all, Sir Dan. You're skinny. So break down your diet for me, Crystals. Break it down real quick in the chat. What's a typical diet for you? Yeah, there's a lot of talk about how pork has things in it, you know. You shouldn't be eating pork. But break it down for me. Send me your diet. Send me what you're used to eating. You know, are you eating vegetables? Are you eating keto friendly vegetables like spinach and deep greens and things like that? A family, this is joke number 59. Thanks, 7 million people in the house. A family was having dinner once when just once? By the way, I'm better off just having one meal a day if I can stay to that. But I can't stay to it. I've tried it. When I've done it, it's gone great. But I'm just, I see the commercial on YouTube, on TV. I'm going straight for the refrigerator to see what's in there. A family was having dinner once when the youngest boy asked his father whether worms tasted nice when we eat them. Both the parents reprimanded the little boy and told him that these things shouldn't be discussed over the dinner table. That's funny. When the father asked the boy after dinner why he asked that question, he replied, Papa, I think worms taste okay because there was one in your noodles. He thought it was supposed to be there. The father was mortified. Oh, hell no. It might as well have been this. Right? 8 million people in the house. Michelle Lazada just stepped into the chat to give me a view. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. You're very nice people. Very humble. Thank you. Thanks for the giving of your time. The historians had gathered for a party in Cairo after they had discovered a new mummy. The discovered mummy on display at the party hall suddenly woke up. Seeing the historians alarmed, the mummy said that he just wanted to listen to some music. The mummy said, please don't play jazz because my trombones are in very bad shape. Could someone please put on some rap music? Oh, that's a little kid joke. That's when to teach your 5 or 7-year-old kid. They could take it to school, tell the joke, and then not get into trouble. In the noodles, for sure, Crystals. A climber, but it's protein. Protein's protein. That's why I have to say. Make worms into protein burgers. I think I saw that somewhere. Somebody's going to be doing that. All right, a climber fell off a cliff, and as he tumbled down, he caught hold of a small branch. Help! Is there anybody up there? He shouted. A majestic voice boomed through the gorge. I will help you, my son. But first, you must have faith in me. Yes, yes, I trust you, cried the man. Let go of the branch, boomed the voice. There was a long pause, and the man shouted up again. Is there anybody else up there? Oh, that's so good. Uh-oh, I knew. Listen, I don't think Mike's here any longer, but I knew there was going to be a Trump joke in here someplace, right? All right, so let's see what it has to say, right? Donald Trump was walking through Manhattan and saw a long queue. Wondering what it was for, he joined it. People would look over their shoulder, see that it was Donald Trump behind them, and then leave the queue. So he would proceed closer and closer to the front. This is a good idea if you're a famous guy like Donald Trump, right? As he was getting closer to the head of the queue, he asked one guy, who also looked and was about to walk away, wait a second, what is the queue for? And why are you now leaving it? The man said, This is the cue for Canadian immigration visas. But if you were getting one, I don't need one now. This is a perfect joke for Mike. And Mike isn't even here. This was right up his alley. It was perfect. It was written for him. This joke was written for Mike, and he left. Mike. Mike. I'm saving this one. This was joke number 62, Crystal's Adventure. Number 63. A bear walks into a bar. The bartender is extremely busy and looks tired. He eventually makes his way over to the bear. The bear immediately tells him, "You look exhausted." "Yeah, it's been a rough day," said the bartender. What are you drinking?" "I'll have a glass of," says the bear. He waits painfully long moments before finishing. "Scotch." "Why the long face?" asked the bartender. "Don't you mean big paws?" asked the bear. "Yeah, sorry. Like I said, it's been a rough day. Big paws." Tell Mike later. So yes, we will. We're going to keep that for him. That's for sure. 63 was a bomb. That one was absolutely no good. Anime is here. Number 64. Oh my goodness gracious. Dan has been in here trying to survive these story jokes for an hour and 32 minutes now. Heaven forbid we only have a few more to go. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Anime, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for being here in the chat. All right, let's get through these last 10. Number 64. I went to the haunted house for exploration. Oh, for exploration. It was near the forest, so the local guide warned me that I might find some animals there. Sure enough, there was a panda. Wow, a panda in the forest. When I offered it some food, I was taken aback because it suddenly started talking. Turned out that it was a ghost panda, and it only ate bam. Boo! So now we're hitting the bottom of the barrel on the jokes. They burned up the good ones up front, and now we have to suffer through the remaining 9 or 10, right? Thanks a lot. The jokes are, you know where they're going, right straight down the toilet. Sailor Moon is here. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for showing up, Sailor Moon. Tell Mildred we appreciate it. I was once passing through a town in England when this lady stopped me because she needed help fixing her car that had broken down. As I was fixing the car, the lady would cross the road and shout hello at me. This happened a few times as the lady found it really amusing. I would have thought that it was very weird had I not realized that it was the singer Adele. That was horrible. By the way, I wanted to share something, a real life experience that happened to myself and my son in England. So I don't know if you know this or not, right? But so here, you're on the, you drive on the same side of the street as in the U.S., right? So in England, it's the opposite. So, but so many tourists have been killed crossing against traffic, right? Because they're looking the wrong way to see if the traffic is clear. And so they start making their way across the street and they get hit from a vehicle coming the other direction. So here's what happened. In London, they started marking the street, reminding foreigners and visitors that the traffic is coming from the opposite direction than they think if they're from the U.S. and other countries, right? The Philippines would definitely be in this category. Of course, a Filipino would never get hit by a car in England, right? Because they're too used to They're too used to crossing the street playing a game of Frogger as it is, so you're very aware. But I looked down, and as my kid started to cross the street, I yanked his shirt so fast and pulled him back onto the curb, onto the sidewalk, just as a bus, one of those 2-story bus things that are popular in England, went zooming by, and the driver didn't honk or anything, and my kid just stared at me with fear in his eyes because he knew that he had almost been killed. Right, so he was getting ready to cross the street. He looked the direction that he would normally look had he been in the States, but the bus was coming from the opposite direction. So, you know, I'm telling you, I don't know what got into me because I wasn't thinking about it either. It was late at night. I was very tired. I wonder if he'll remember this. But he stepped off the curb. I reached him and I pulled him back. And I said to him, "Oh my God." I think I was really, it's a real weird thing, but I think I yelled at him and said, "You have to be more careful. You almost died." Yeah, as though if he were killed, I would have been standing over his dead body saying, "Hey, you needed to be more careful. It's your own fault that you died." It's the weirdest thing, about me and my personality. You wouldn't want to have anything to do with me anyway. Lucky son, your son was safe. Yeah, I don't know what got into me. I wasn't even really paying attention myself. I was very tired, and then I just reached over and went, and I pulled him back. I wonder if I talked to him, would he still remember that incident or not? All right, a redneck's father passed away. We got to skip over this one. The redneck, so they're saying redneck from where? Where's he from? Oklahoma? The South somewhere? A redneck's father passed away in his sleep. So in the morning, he calls 911 to come pick up the body. The 911 operator told him that she would send someone out right away. "Where do you live?" asked the operator. He replied, "At the end of Eucalyptus Drive." The operator asked, "Can you spell that for me?" There was a long pause, and finally he said, "How about if I drag him over to Oak Street and you could pick him up there?" Hey, you know something? I doubt very much if I could spell eucalyptus without seeing it here. I bet you I cannot do it. I bet you I can't do it. Yeah, I don't think I could spell eucalyptus. Now, Crystals, weren't you an online English teacher? You were a tutor. Could you spell eucalyptus without having to look it up in the dictionary, or use the word correction program? A man takes his sick chihuahua to the veterinarian. They're immediately taken back to a room. Soon, a Labrador walks in, sniffs the chihuahua for about 10 minutes, and leaves. Then a cat comes in, stares at the chihuahua for 10 minutes, and the cat leaves. Finally, the doctor comes in, prescribes some medicine, and hands the man a $250 American bill. Oh, really? You can, huh? Well, la-ti-da, Crystals. You could spell eucalyptus. I'm very impressed. That's not nice of me, huh? Is it? 10 million people in the chat. So anyway, getting on with it. Finally, the doctor comes in, prescribes some medicine, and hands the man a $250 bill. That means a bill that the man has to pay $250 for the prescription of medicine and for seeing the chihuahua. Okay, so there must be some mistake, the man says. I've been here for only 20 minutes. No mistake, the doctor says. It's $100 for the lab test, $100 for the CAT scan, and $50 for the medicine. That's bad. A cat comes in and stare. Oh, just forget it. Number 68. What do we have? 7 or 8 more to go? My brother came back from school all motivated because he said he would be following a new diet from that day. We didn't really give it much thought until my brother really started eating his homework for dinner. When we stopped him and asked him why he was doing that, he replied, I was just trying to see how it tasted because my teacher said the homework would be a piece of cake for me. That's the most stupid joke out of all of them. Hey, Crystals, have you heard of any of these jokes? Some of them I have never heard before. A couple of them I've heard variations of, but not exactly like these. Number 69. A food critic visits a local restaurant to review its food for the town magazine. The owner welcomes him and shows him to the table. The food is presented to him, and after a while, the critic calls the owner to say that there is something missing in his bowl of soup. The owner asks whether it is too spicy or sweet or salty. When the food critic says no, the owner decides to taste the soup himself, but he can't find the spoon. Yeah, says the critic, that's what's missing. The food's fine as long as I could taste it. Let's see. Ha 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 ha. Stupidity strikes. My first time, Sir Dan, hearing these. Okay. Are any of them inspiring you to do anything? Listen, you guys know the rules, right? We're only playing around here, right? You're to take nothing seriously and do not try any of this stuff at home. This is just for entertainment purposes only, not for you to actually do anything. Yeah, spoonless, exactly. But we don't care about spoons here in the Philippines. We just pick the bowl up and we just start slurping. That's how I am. I'm a slurper. A man stands in line at an ATM money machine in Moscow. Now, I've been there, so I've done that before. I've been in Moscow. I've used the ATM machine, so I could relate. This joke must be for me. After an hour, he loses patience and yells, Putin is to blame for this. I'm going to the Kremlin and I will get rid of him. 30 minutes later, he's back in line at the ATM. Why are you here again? Asked another waiter. The line in front of the Kremlin is twice as long as this one. Good. Don't try this at home. Number 71. A businessman went into the office and found an inexperienced handyman painting the walls. The handyman was wearing two heavy parkas on a hot summer day. Thinking this was a little strange. Well, if you're in the Philippines, you're not really going to think it's strange that a painter is wearing a jacket, especially on a day where it's 82 or 83 degrees as opposed to its usual 90, right, Crystals? The handyman was wearing two heavy-duty parkas, one over the other. The businessman asked the handyman why he was wearing parkas on such a hot day. The handyman showed him the instructions on the can of paint. They read, for best results, put on two coats. And that one passes, I think. A man is driving down the highway and he hits and kills a rabbit. He gets out of the car and walks over to the rabbit. He picks it up and starts crying, thinking he's a horrible person. Someone else driving down the highway stops and walks over to him and asks what happened. The man replies, I hit this rabbit with my car and now he's dead. The other person gets a thoughtful look on his face and goes back to their car. They rummage around the trunk and eventually walk over to the man holding a spray bottle. They spray the rabbit with the bottle and it comes back to life. It starts hopping away, turning back every few hops to wave at the two people. The man's astounded, turns to the other person and asks, what was in that bottle? And the other person replies, it's hairspray. Yay, wrong coat. That's right. It's the wrong coat. It's the wrong coat of paint. But if you look at my house, you start thinking they should have been wearing two coats. They would have painted the house. They would have done a better job if they'd been wearing two coats. Hairspray. That's funny. That's when you can tell your kid. Most of these jokes are very clean. A couple of them I didn't like so much. There's a skeleton in our neighborhood who always knows that something bad might happen way before it actually happens. He has actually become quite famous, and when a TV crew interviewed about the reason behind his ability, the skeleton finally disclosed his secret. He could feel the bad vibes in his bones. All right, guess what? Dun, dun, dun. We are down to the very, very last joke, number 74. And then when I'm done with this, I shall bid you all farewell and have a nice evening, day, afternoon, nice sleep, nice morning, nice day at work, wherever you may be. Yeah. Let's see. Clean jokes are cool. Better than green jokes. That is true, I think. All right, here's the final one, right? But it probably, I mean, they say that they save the best for last, but I doubt it, right? Once a mosquito walked into a clinic. The doctor saw him and asked him what the matter was. The mosquito said that he had had a lot of problems. He was not happy with his life. He was not happy with the job he was doing. He was sad and had no motivation. The doctor listened to his problems and told him that he should really visit a therapist instead of a doctor. The mosquito replied, "Yeah, I know. I just came in because of the blood." Oh my God, that was horrible. Oh, how could they even tell that joke? Ah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God, in your sleep, I'll be laughing with those jokes. Some of them I will, some of them were pretty good. Thanks, everybody. Crystals, thanks so much for being a fan. Thanks, everybody. Anna Mae, Laurice, Stead, Nicole. Who else? Who else came? Mildred, Mengay, Sailor Moon, Anna Mae, Crystal's Adventure. Who did I miss? Amanda Lynn was here. Des stopped by. Anastasia was here. Girly Senna. Alfie was here. Bruce Davis stopped in. Jerry calls South Texas home. Mike Married was here. Everyone who was here that I missed. Alien Cruise Official. LV Rose, and Mabel Torres, who's a very, very busy person. Charmaine stopped in to be part of this ridiculous 1 hour and 50 minutes, for which I know you will never ever get it back. Thank you so much. If I missed anybody, I apologize. You all have, if you're in the Philippines, have a nice rest, have a nice sleep, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Bye bye, everybody.